ұрпақтан ұрпаққа жеткізеді.
Watch the real-life program about exceptional destinies, remarkable opportunities, and unbelievable facts right now. There's an electric fan, hairdryer, soldering iron, and centrifuge. The island has already started buzzing like a beehive. The grains of all time are collected here. His grandfather, named Krym, was an ancient Turkic name. Its meaning is height or citadel. His surname matched too, as it derived from altın, which meant gold. They have a coat of arms and a national anthem on the Krym island, the population of which amounts approximately 20 people. Very many people came here and worked a lot. However, very few can get assimilated here, as they have to do high-tech work, which is also time-consuming, heavy and dirty. You have to know a lot to do it. This is why many people can't endure it. The island owner is a person possessing a unique gift. How can you unearth your hidden talent? Where is the gold of the Krym? Who can curb the flow of time? This is the headquarters of the United Nations in New York. The gifts sent from all the countries of the world are stored in these rooms. This present is from Bahrain. This one is from Nigeria. This is a miniature sculpture from Russia. The Golden Man is a gift from Kazakhstan. When they asked me to restore the Golden Man, it was my first significant work. Krym Altunbekov is a very craftsman who managed to create this masterpiece of the golden ratio with his hands and eyes. The first restoration of the Golden Man was carried out by restorer Vladimir Sadomskov in 1971. It took him 2 years to complete it, while Altunbekov did the restoration over a year. The famous Saka warrior in full regalia has 4,500 gold decorations. The only thing he doesn't have is an akinag in his sheath because it is prohibited to enter the United Nations headquarters with weapons. The Saka warrior is standing there disarming visitors with his grandeur. Krym is confident that it is possible to conquer the world without weapons. Dear colleagues, the happy moment has come. Krym Altunbekov is opening the burial mound which was discovered in Urjar district. There is a person's skull which is very fragile. This information is really valuable for archaeologists. Our task is to transport very carefully so not a hair, not a grain of soil is dropped from it. His Krym island is like the island of Renaissance. Urjar princess is here. She was literally reborn from the ashes. Her body was burnt during the burial. Her body, organs and everything that is prone to being burnt. The only burnt remains of the bones and the metal jewelry survived. There is a large cooking pot, comb and mirror. These charred artifacts remain underground for 2,500 years. However, it took surprisingly little time to restore them. This work has been done over a year. Now the National Museum houses them. Everything started in St. Petersburg in the 1980s. Here his talent was discovered. He was an apprentice and then he was restoring a modeling of a building destroyed during the Second World War. During the daytime I watched the craftsmen work and then I spent nights working on the instruments. Anyway, I had nowhere to live and I stayed there stealthily. When I finished my work quickly, they were always surprised and they didn't know that I sat there practicing at night.
Они не знали, что я ночью ночами сижу и занимаюсь.
Tenacity and purposefulness once made the Krym leave his village in the Karaganda region. Instead of continuing a teaching dynasty found in a restoring one, his wife, 2 daughters and nephews work on the same island. He moved and settled down in Almaty. He studied everything when observing the process. He traveled a lot, and a vocation for being an artist, did not receive education because he did not enter a university. Krym says that they didn't like him for some reason. He also dreamt of being a pilot. When a plane is flying, I still can't take my eyes off this passenger airplane. They fly back and forth, however, it wasn't destined to become a pilot. They said that my eyesight was poor and found some other reasons too. Incidentally, a restorer's work is more dangerous than a pilot's. They work with products of purification, fungi, bacteria from ancient infections. They use chemicals daily. Tutankhamun's curse, Tamerlane's warning, and Altai Princess's revenge can be mentioned here too. However, the Krym doesn't believe in any mystical powers. According to statistics, 70% of all the mystical stories are connected with archaeological finds. During burial mound excavations, we opened the sarcophagus lid. 2 corpses were inside. I knew about it, I apologized and entered. The point is that when you do such things, not mysticism, but rather great responsibility is involved. The point is that we touch the most sacred things in the world.
Дело в том, что мы прикасаемся к святых.
The most sacred thing was touched in 1998. They're the burial mounds. It was an international expedition which citizens of Kazakhstan, Russia and France participated. They had a unique chance to investigate royal tombs of ancient Scythians. The remains were found perfectly preserved in permafrost. It is surprising, but according to some data, it was artificially produced in ancient times. The king and his mother were found in ceremonial attire, and 13 horses were also found. Then we had to preserve them somehow. They told us that they had already done their best and nothing else should be done because such work could be carried out only in the Louvre. He went to the Louvre, admired it and did everything in his own way. When he arrived in Paris, he was astonished at the museum computerization, which was not surprising as it is the best laboratory in the world is situated there. The Mona Lisa, the Nike of Samuel Thrice, and the Venus de Milo are housed and restored there. Incidentally, during the last restoration, they are considered reattaching the arms of the goddess of love, but decided not to do it. Presumably, Venus had an apple in one hand and held the edge of her clothes with the other, but the exact position of her hands was unknown. The restorer's top priority is to stop on time and save, not spoil. In order to save the Beryl treasures, they bought freezers first and did not have the money for anything else. Everybody looked at us grinning. They didn't know what people from Kazakhstan were doing and who we were. As a result, I was motivated by desire to do it. It was necessary to use their own technical devices instead of expensive high-level foreign technology. It was in Almaty laboratory in 2002. It isn't impregnated, and if it absorbs oxygen, it turns into dust. Damp and half-rotted wood consists of a lot of fragments. It seems impossible to make something of thousands of little pieces, nevertheless, they did it. It took us 2 years to make a roof and a few other elements. We also spent some time on developing technology. Actually, we carried out an experiment. It is common practice in the world and Europe to spend 9 or 10 years working on such large projects. Processing only 1 centimeter of wood takes a month and a half. It took 6 years to restore the whole sarcophagus from the burial mound. Every exhibit is like a real person demanding special treatment and an individual approach.
C'est l'individuальный подход.
This is the National Museum in Astana. Now the treasures from the Beryl burial mound have become the property of the country. However, not everything has been restored yet. The team of the Krym island has been working on this project for 15 years. It is necessary to find common ground between cultures and countries and between the past and the present. His skills have already been appreciated in many countries of the world. For example, here Feris Blaumann, General Consul of Hungary in Kazakhstan, presents a national award to Krym. Krym Altenbekov is standing near. He became a holder of the Order of Merit of Hungary Knight's Cross Star. Knight derived from the old German horseman, a person who tamed a horse. As for Knight Krym, he is the one who curbed the flow of time. However, he calls himself a doctor. He says that the most important thing is to be on time.
Да, мы как раз тоже.
Yes, we are like archaeological paramedics too. We even have a special case with all the instruments necessary for an excavation. We never use it, but when archaeologists call, I grab it and rush to them because everything is ready and prepared there in advance.
Я его хватаю и лечу, потому что там все уже заранее подготовлено.
This is followed by a series of procedures including X-rays, various tests, and even magnetic resonance therapy. Patient's life depends on these procedures.
Мы не имеем права.
You should understand that we don't have the right to make mistakes. If we make a mistake once, we lose this monument. We bear responsibility towards all the people who are related to this culture and the whole world because we have only one chance to get this monument, which is very fragile and can disappear in a second.
Она очень хрупкая, в любое время может исчезнуть.
The most famous restoration story is about The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. 18 years after the work was finished, it started to deteriorate. Since then, restorations have been undertaken for 500 years off and on. If it were not for restorers, nobody would know what they looked like. It is difficult to enumerate all of Altenbekov's work, including the Golden Man, Beryl horses, Samaritan leader, and Turkic standard. But all of them are alive again. They travel around the world surprising people. They have been to Asia and America, and the nomadic Golden Man is traveling in Europe at this moment. István Bent, one of the expedition organizers, talks about it.
Üdvözlöm a kedves nézőket, itt vagyunk Veszprém.
We have held Krym Altenbekov's expeditions 5 times in Hungary. They were very important because they demonstrated the common historic ground between the two countries and informed the Hungarians about Kazakhstan.
Altenbekovnak és az Ostrov Krymnek a...
In the city Veszprém, there is a restoration of Scythian heritage. The expedition is called People in Gold. Incidentally, there is a version according to which gold appeared as a result of a cosmic explosion. Stars collided, and after that, literally golden rain came down on the earth. The Scythians were skilled in working with this material.
Вот уже готовые.
Here you can see the completed work. There is a goat lying. It is interesting that you can even see the pupils of its eyes.
До зрачков все нарисовано.
Another interesting thing is that the leather, even on its little fragment of fur clothing, was embroidered. It is as thin as silk and there is embroidery on it. We can hardly see it through a microscope. How did they do it?
Вышивки. Через микроскоп еле видно, как они делали.
Maybe being surprised and surprising others is the secret of his success. He does almost impossible things and can't help doing them. We can see decay in the first photos. Sometimes later, it dries and disappears. How do you understand that we won't have it any longer? We must grab the opportunity and prevent this from ever happening again. Krym Altenbekov follows the trail of these imprints. Time is gold and you shouldn't lose it. Only in this case, scientists will be able to ask key questions and answer them. We never have enough time and don't want to waste it. The more you do, the less time we have. He stops time, and time holds him in captivity. This is his real life.